What's going on, everybody? I'm J.S. Garrett, and I'm here with my friend Vinny, and we're going to be discussing some things related to fatherhood and sorcery, raising a family as a black magician, as well as I also wanted to touch on some of your ideas about building an astral temple. So how's it going, Vinny?
It's going fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorite things to do, by the way, is to build that astral temple, because you can get everything done.
Yeah. It was something that was really interesting for me to hear you talk about, because not everybody can go in their backyard and build a giant circle and perform a black mass or
right.
Ritual. So if someone was confined to the hospital or prison, or you live in the city where you can't get away with doing ritual outside in public, or don't have your apartment, if you could figure out that astral part, then that would eliminate the need for just about all your tools. So I mean, I definitely want to get into that. And you and I both raise kids as sorcerers, as black magicians, or whatever label you want to put on us, and that can get pretty tricky too, because whereas Christians or other religions, I mean, they're baptizing their kids at birth and they're shoving that shit down their throat, which ultimately fucks them up in the long run. Whereas we take a different approach to that and allow them to learn about what we do, but they have to take each step themselves, and it has to be their choice. So I want to iterate that as well.
And I think allowing them to make their own choice is important, because you don't want rebellion. You want everybody to kind of, and not conform necessarily, but understand where you're coming from. You want everybody to be on the same page, for lack of a better term. You want them to come to their own conclusions and not kind of tell them what needs to be done. This way they can grow up and say, you know what, I had a great, upbringing. I've made my decisions. This is what I want to do. And this is why. Yeah.
And well, as adversarialists ourselves, we've already kind of done that rebellion thing for them and broken away from the religion and the church so that they don't have to. And rebelling is a big part of Satanism, adversarialism, or just walking your own path outside of the church, whatever you want to label you put on it. But what we're doing is giving them the freedom to make their own choices and educating them not just about religion, but about science, because what we do is science ultimately. Metaphysics is really all that we're doing, and that can go deep or
it's the most masterful art form you can come.
It's a martial art. Ultimately, it's not just a mental martial art, but a physical martial art. Because I mean, black magic is self mastery at its most insane level. So
I know the first time that I was able to heal somebody and make them feel good again, I knew I was heading in the right direction.
Yes. Dude, that's I've talked about healing a lot on these podcasts, and that'll probably always be a big part of my practice, because it's something that I enjoy doing, for one, and it's something that you're never going to run out of a need for it. I mean, you can off 10 people that and they've probably all got some type of physical ailment or condition that they are on medication for, or something that they are suffering from. That's a big part of self-mastery, is being able to heal yourself and improve the lives of those around you. So if
I think one of my favorite things to do, and my friends call it a parlor trick, but I mean, I've been able to do it since I was young, is you can walk in my home and I can look at you and know that something's wrong and pinpoint it and hopefully be able to help you with it. And they won't even know that I know. But it's just something that happens.
Let me ask you this. Do you ever feel sympathy pain for people whenever you're in close proximity to them? It's like a phantom pain. And
yes. Being a twin, I have a twin brother. So I've always had that kind of, I guess, twin connection.
Yeah.
And I use that as the path to sort of feel my way through.
Yeah.
Like I told you on the last podcast, my hands tingle when things are it's like a spidey sense, for lack of a better term.
No, I know what you mean, dude. I've experienced the tingling in my palms, getting next to somebody who is suffering from something, It doesn't always happen. It's only sometimes. And I feel like whenever that does happen, whenever you get that spidey sense tingling, it's because you're supposed to do something about it. So when that happens, I mean, it might be weird. A total stranger be like, "Excuse me, can I put my hands on you for a minute?" You know, that doesn't always
Yeah.
go over well, but most of the time they're going to let you do it.
And they look at my wife and she goes, "No, trust him. He knows." And I do it, and they're flabbergasted.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I've got this book. I've mentioned it on here a long time ago on one of these podcasts. It's called Telecult Power by Reese P. Dubin. And there's a magic health chant in there for relief of pain and suffering. And so it's a mouthful. It's like a 2-page mouthful, but I memorized it. And do what?
Fantastic. You memorized it?
Yeah, I memorized it. You know, every so often I'll need to go back and read it again just so I don't get any of it mixed up because it's seriously 2 pages long. But
Right.
you know, whenever I'm, you know, someone asks me, "Oh, I got a boo-boo, can you help me with that?" Or, you know, back pain is a big one. I'll simply put my hands on them and speak that chant. And at the end of that chant, it's like during the chant, that tingling gets really intense, and it's almost like you reach into them and grab a hold of that, whatever that is, and I'll pull it out of them after I've finished saying that chant. And dude, that works like every time. It works on yourself. It works on people. It's really cool.
The funny thing is that I can't do it to myself, but I can do it for others.
Okay.
That's why when I first helped you, I asked you about the deification right
Yeah.
for my CP, because for whatever reason, I have not been able to get it right, so to speak.
Okay. Well, that's, you know, I've actually heard. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I've heard a lot of people who do like hands-on healing say that they need that physical human connection, the melding of energies in order to do the magic that they're doing for them. And it is difficult to do it on yourself. Saying the health chant for myself, like if I've got back pain and I say the chant and insert my name in it, that absolutely works. But yeah, it's hard to do like something like energy work on yourself for some reason.
That is, I'm glad you said that, because energy work, or energy in itself, is the key. If you can raise that energy and that zone, anything's possible.
Yeah.
In terms of healing.
Yeah.
I feel at times I can feel like I can reach inside somebody's wherever and make it better. Sounds crazy. I've seen it. I've done it. To me, it's second nature. To others, it's foreign. To you, you can understand it because you've done it.
Yeah.
But to different people, it sounds so abnormal, because I don't need all the stuff, all the accoutrement to go with something. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can, you know, make it all happen. The candles, the whole 9 yards. But really, all I need to do is raise those energies, put my hands together, rub them, and it happens.
Now, do you feel like I guess a lot of people would consider cerebral palsy, if I'm saying it right, as a disadvantage to ritual magic, but it seems like you've taken that and turned it into an advantage because you've learned how to do magic without the tools.
Correct.
Right. That is cool. So you could do ritual magic anywhere, simply by going into a trance-like state.
Yes. I learned that when I was in the hospital. I was probably 12 or 13, and Lucifer came to me at the bedside.
Yeah.
And I just got finished with my biggest surgery. I think it was 8 different surgeries at one time, and I was put in a body cast, and it was painful. It was 3 days of utter pain, and I asked God to help. I got no answer.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Why not? And I asked Lucifer, and within minutes, I got an answer. And it sounds crazy, but this older gentleman came in the room, sat at my side of the bed, touched the leg that hurt, and within minutes it was gone.
No, that's incredible. And I remember we talked about this briefly before, and you know that might sound crazy to your average person, but I don't think it's going to sound that crazy to the people who are listening to us because you know just about everybody who walks this path has had some type of crazy experience that started them along this path. And no, I believe that 100%. And you know, I had a similar instance. I don't know if I've ever talked about it. This lady wasn't a stranger. It was a lady that knew my family, but I had a lot of pain in my lower stomach whenever I was a kid, and picked up on that. And she laid her hands on me, and I felt like her hands went all the way through me, and I didn't have that pain anymore. So yeah, I mean, that was a big influence on me as far as knowing what's possible in the realms of healing.
And didn't you say at one point you saw the fakeness of it all when you went to that yogi guy?
Yeah. You know, I tried to get into Reiki there for a little while, and
Yeah.
most of those people, they're extreme white light right hand path types.
Right.
And yeah, you know, I went to this famous monk who traveled around and taught people Reiki, and I was in pain. I had back pain at the time. I hadn't figured out the healing for myself yet. And
Right.
I was in more pain when I got off of his table than I was when I laid down. And I'd also been drained of all my energy. And I got sick for several days. And, you know, this guy was in his late 40s and he looked like he was 16 years old. So I'm pretty sure that, you know, if you were a spiritual predator who preyed on gullible people, you would not put on a black robe and call yourself a black magician. You'd put on a fucking white robe,
Right.
and call yourself a monk or a priest or a white lighter, and that's how you would lure your victims in to let them pray or be prayed.
Without question.
And really the only bad experiences I've ever had with any of this metaphysical stuff has been with right hand path practitioners and white lighters. I've got a saying that, you know, nothing will fuck you up faster than a white lighter. And that's been my experience. And most of the people who come to me as far as clients have spent so much money on these right hand practitioners, these faith healers, Reiki people, and they've gotten nowhere. And the evil black magician is their last stop before they jump off a cliff. And,
The last hope.
yeah. So
Yep. I've been told the last hope a few times, and I've come pretty good.
So what we were talking about a second ago is the deification rite. That's something that I have been able to do some pretty awesome healing with. So I think what we should do is we should do the deification rite for you and video it, and then I should interview you afterwards to talk about your experiences. Would you be?
I would love to do that.
All right.
For you, I would do it. You know, you and Barbie are the only two people that I've spoken to about any of my. I've been at this for 35 years.
Yeah.
It's something that's private to me. I'm not used to this whole media onslaught, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, I went through Satanic Panic. I thought that was ridiculous. You know, I've seen different things go on, you know, but to me, I was always a solitary practitioner. I never really talked about the things that I could do or the things that I was trying to do or setting up to do. I always kept it to myself. And then I watched, I don't remember what video it was, one of your first. And my wife brought it to me and she said, Vin, you have to check out J.S. Garrett. Who the hell is J.S. Garrett? Watched it and I was like, holy shit, someone else that gets it. Because you were talking about energy and energy work. Now, of course, you know, you put on the beautiful, you know, spectral things that you do with you and Barbie, but you can also take it and sit in that chair wherever you are and make something happen. That was amazing to me because the only person I knew that could do that and be serious about it was me. At least that's what I thought. Because, you know, I didn't know that there was a black magician sort of uprising, for lack of a better term. There was, you know, that it became so popularized, I guess is the word.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that. I just knew what I did. I didn't know someone else who knew any of that stuff or even cared. So when she said to me, "I'm gonna do a podcast with Garrett," I was like, "All right, I'll support you because I like him." And you asked me the one question when we first got together. You asked me what my story was, and I gave you little tidbits. That was the first time I'd spoken about it, period,
Yeah.
to anyone. Simply because, to me, it wasn't anybody's business. Does that make sense? And I don't mean that to sound negative. I was just a private person.
Yeah. Well, most of
them.
Yeah, most of us are, and that's dude. For me, getting on and doing these podcasts was the hardest part of any of this in the beginning because it was. I'm like a really private person myself, and I realized that it was important for people like us to get on and talk about these things.
Right.
Just like it reached you, all those years ago. Like it lets other people know that they're not the only ones out there doing this stuff, and it is turning into kind of an uprising, over the last few years. Like the number of magicians that I've seen in the public eye has quadrupled, if not more.
And some of them are good and some of them are bad, but it's not my place to say. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just know
practitioner, really.
Yes. I just know what I feel. Do you know what I mean? I go on my feeling. I go on my gut. I always have. It's just a feeling that I get. And you made it easier for me to come out and be, what it really is. So I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, well, thank you for coming on here and chatting with me. And yeah, I know it's not easy to share personal information, but it is important because we're going to reach other people just like us out there. And
well, also the fact that when we did the first video and we got so many fantastic responses, I was like, you know what, there is a possibility for other people that don't have the ability to build big things and do the whole grand thing. They can do it within themselves. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with building a grand adventure, so to speak, and making superb. But you do the same thing with just your inner mind and maybe a candle. It's that.
Yeah. And if you think about it, that's really a level of mastery that even people like myself are still working towards, the ability to actually create action at a distance or alter this reality in a physical way through non-physical means without any tools. I mean, once you get to that level, I mean, I think that's a level of mastery we're all working towards, is to be able to create instant changes in reality without having to set up and do a ritual. And I'm definitely not there yet. And I think that your situation has helped you expedite that skill in a way that normal magicians probably haven't thought of yet. So that's a big reason why I like to get on here and chat with you, because it's like you skipped a whole leap and bound as far as becoming a magician, because that wasn't an option for you. And that just goes to show that we have no limitations, not really.
We're limitless. As long as you're willing to open up your mind. The universe is ours.
Yeah.
Whatever you choose to do with it is yours. You know what I mean? I can remember laying in the hospital bed at the age of 12 and 13, where it all began for me. And I could remember just laying there within myself, because really there was nothing else to do other than watch TV. But after that, what do? I'm stuck in a cast that's up to my belly button, and I can't move. So I go within myself. And the journey that I took, that I was taken on, was amazing.
Wow.
And that I can do at a drop of a hat. But to the average person, they're like, what do you mean to do? I can't do that. Well, you have to be able to let yourself go. You have to empty your head, for lack of a better term. Empty your head and just make it happen, because it's possible. And then once you enter that the temple, and your tools are already there. If you want to, if you only have a few things with you physically, that's fine, but you don't need it because your tools are already in your astral temple. You take those tools and you can make anything happen. And I mean that, anything. I mean literally anything. For me, I enjoy healing. That's something that I've always enjoyed doing because I was healed. Yes, I still have to speak, but in terms of internal healing, I was healed.
Yeah.
Lucifer came to me and said, "Here's your choice." And I took that choice, and I've been happier ever since. Now, I did have an option to have the disability taken from me. I actually asked an angel. I don't know if I told you this. And they said to me, "We can do that, or I can do that for you, but it's going to cost you something." I said, "Okay, everything costs something." He said, "I want your eyes." I said, "You want my eyes?" I'm not giving up my eyes.
Yeah.
I'd rather stay where I'm at. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
I need to be able to see. And so I mean I had options, but I chose not to.
Yeah, I wouldn't have made that choice either. And that's got to be another influence on you as far as the path that you walk. And it really seems like you took what was your greatest disadvantage in life and turned it into your greatest advantage, which that's
Yeah.
that's magic in itself.
And I tell people when they're like, "You can't do that." Okay, then that's the one that's closest to me. She's seen it happen. I mean, I to me it's so easy. It's like drinking a glass of water. But
Yeah.
but anybody can master it. You have to master your own mind. You understand that from a scientific point of view, because you take everything from a scientific point of view and then bring in the black magic as it counts. So, and that's why I'm here talking to you, because you get it. Not saying that others wouldn't get it, but I just know you would get it more than anybody else. You and Barbie get it.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And yeah, so
Well, thank you.
what I want to do here is I want to get your deification rite scheduled, and I want to custom tailor that to also be geared towards a healing ritual at the same time. And the way I do this is it's actually with two sacrifices. I will summon the spirit of healing, and I will make them a sacrifice on your behalf. And then I will immediately turn around and pull your spirit out of body and make you a sacrifice as well in that spirit's presence, while asking them to facilitate all of the energy from these sacrifices to go into your physical body to heal a specific ailment. So I think we should try that and then get on here and talk about it again afterwards to see what you experience.
No question. I'll be more than happy to.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
You know what? It'll show people that a part of the rite that, or black magic, that most people are afraid of. To be quite honest, they see all the spooky, scary things, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't do that." Well, sure you can. Just watch, see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Open up your.
Overcoming that fear is the biggest thing for people, I think.
Do you still come across the fear in people at times?
Dealing with clients as well as friends and family, yeah. As a sorcerer, I'm typically the first person that my friends or family will reach out to whenever something's really wrong in their life. And they, especially in the beginning, they all have that fear. They're like, "Oh, is this going to cost me my soul? Is this, am I going to be tormented by demons after I do this?" I'm like, "No, dude, no, not at all." And of course, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And the ultimate thing, as far as the right way to do it, is respect. You don't threaten the spirit. You don't demand things from them.
Right.
It's a very, you want to treat them just like you would another person that you have respect for.
Right. And I think as a father, teaching your kids, first and foremost, is respect for yourself, for others, and for the spirits. Now, as long as those others respect you, then you give that respect. You know, I feel that's, they give you respect, you give them respect. You know, in terms of people, because you're always going to come across the asshole or assholes that think they know everything, think they, you know, they can solve you or fix you. I could remember going to school on a bus, the city bus, and I'd constantly get these people coming up to me talking about Jesus was going to save me and I was going to be healed. I'm like, you know what? Take a walk. I don't need to be healed. I got it covered. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got to be that way, because growing up in New York, you had to do what you had to do. So there was no, you know, I wasn't going to sit there and have a conversation with the guy or the girl, but they all wanted to, I constantly had that. You know, everybody wanted to come save me. I'm already saved. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a great way to prey on people as well.
It happens. It happens all the time. So, you know, that's what I did.
Yeah. And you know, I really feel like that, you know, in church and even dealing with like monks and gurus, what people are really doing is they're worshiping that pastor, they're worshiping that monk or worshiping that guru. And,
Yes.
you know, that you really see it when you look at it. You know, the like these televangelists. So I was talking about this with Uncle Chucky last week. You know, these televangelists, they, you know, they can be 90 years old and look like they're 40 or 50 years old. You know, it's like that. It preserves them over time. They're practicing vampirism, but on like a massive scale. And they're getting really rich off of it too. And you don't really see people getting healed by them. You know, they'll come up on stage, they'll touch them on the head, and then they'll fall and flop around, and you know, then they get back into their fucking wheelchair. So I mean, they're not doing anything but acting out a conditioned response that they know they're supposed to act out, and they're paying a lot of money to get hands laid on them and getting nothing for it. So
the one I don't understand, and I don't think I'll ever understand, is the one that where the pastor brings up the Gaboon viper. You know, you get bit by a Gaboon viper and it heals you because you took on his venom. Like, give me a break.
yeah,
It's a West African Gaboon viper. You get bit by one of those things, you're done.
yeah.
You got what? You got 10 minutes to get to the hospital.
Yeah, well, they tend to milk the poison out of those snakes before they do something like that. And the real snake handlers, like there's some real fucking snake handlers out there, and a lot of them get bit and die. I was watching a video a couple of weeks ago. It was this, you know, snake handler in Virginia, and his father had previously gotten bit by a rattlesnake in church and died on the floor. And so this guy's like hopping around with this big fat rattlesnake, and then it turns and bites him like right here on the temple, and it hits an artery at the same time. So he's bleeding out and thrashing around and dying from the poison. They managed to save his life, but he is permanently handicapped. Like he will never be the same from that rattlesnake bite. So needless to say, he's not a snake handler anymore. And
Nope.
Yeah, I don't see the point in that.
I don't either. I don't either. And you know, then we have the people that I'm sure you've dealt with in the past. You know, oh, you're a black magician, this, that, Satan. You know, how could you? You don't know nothing. All you want to do is assume.
Yeah.
Do your research. Do your homework. And then try and come and have a conversation with me, because I'll be more than happy to talk to you. But if you're going to come at me like that, I have no time.
Yeah, those people, they don't really want to have a two-way conversation. They want to say what they have to say, and they want you to just agree with them. And the minute you don't, they're condemning you to hell. So
and as a parent, you know, I want to teach my kids the right thing to do. And these people showing off like assholes, you know, talking about what they think they know, doesn't show good for my children, because I'm trying to teach them, you know, the right way to be, and make their own decisions based on their beliefs, based on what they see, based on what they've learned. That's not a way to teach. That just shows some old lady or some old guy giving me the business. You know, there's no for that. Just because you don't believe in what I believe in doesn't mean I need to hear your mouth.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And so, okay, so back to raising children, and teaching them magic. One of the main thing I will teach my child is things like candle magic manifestation. Or actually, I also teach her chaos magic, where, she wants to do something. I'll say, okay, create your own sigil for this. Sit here and program that sigil and feed energy into it until it becomes a thought form, and then take it outside and release it and burn that sigil and see what happens. And my kid is probably, she's going to be way better at magic than I am, because she's starting at such a young age. And
Does she take it from a scientific aspect like you do?
yes,
Does
yes, that's the thing that I reiterate over and over again, is this is not a religion, this is science, and everybody has the ability to do this in their own capacity, and we're all capable of changing reality.
I will take my son, little Vinny, and both Marissa and myself will take him and do some candle work. And when we do the blood ritual, prick our finger, and he wants to do the same thing. So we prick his finger as well, and he'll put his blood on the sigil, charges the sigil, and he's learning the basics. And he's getting it. He's enjoying it. He's beginning to understand stuff. So I think that's fantastic. And as a dad on the left-hand path, I couldn't be any prouder.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I couldn't be prouder either, man. And no, that's great. And I think people are going to take a lot from just listening to these experiences. And we're just about out of time. We're supposed to keep these things right about 30 minutes.
I apologize.
No, 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 no. I've been rambling on too. But the thing is, if we make them too long, then people won't sit through them. So we'll probably do another one shortly and pick up where we left off. And
that's fine.
I want to record your ritual that I'm going to do for you, and I'll get with you after we hang up here and schedule that. And then we'll do a follow-up interview, and I'll video the ritual, of course, and maybe we can make like video clips of at least the highlights and add that to the interview and see what you experience. See if
Fantastic. And I think that not only will we reach, the masses in terms of, the people that can walk and ambulate, but we'll reach those people that can't. And I think that's a big deal, because they want to do it too. And I didn't realize how many disabled people wanted to be part of the left-hand path until we did that first video.
Yeah.
And thousands of people, we're so happy to know that something like this was possible. And I was thrilled to know that I had a part of that, to let them know that they can do anything they want as long as they put their mind to it. And it doesn't require anything as long as you release what's inside your head.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, I think that is a great place to wrap this up.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I want to thank you again for coming on and chatting with me and sharing your personal story.
Anytime.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to follow up and do this again. And we'll get that ritual scheduled and see what we can do.
I'm all for it. Looking forward to it.
Sounds good. Well, thank you and have a good night. And thank you everyone for watching.
Good night.